Eden Zero is back, and we're back to where we left off, and with the fight with Dead End Crow. He immediately is trying to figure out how they were able to use their ether gear inside of his body, and they respond by saying, well, we took away your ether gear jammer from you. So on the outside, you got Keely using her wind abilities to absorb the actual signal of the ether gear jammer, which is insane. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. She has a very similar power to a character in Ravemaster who had an ability known as Spiral, where no matter what you threw at her, it just allowed her to turn into a spiral around her body, which she can then use as an attack. So you shot fire at her, the spiral would absorb the fire, and then she can launch the fire back at you with her spiral. You launch nails at her, you can just grab them like it's no big deal and chuck them. But I think she even grabbed like half a building and just ripped it apart and just started chucking it at people. So yeah, Keely's flying around in her ship around the big Dead End Crow, absorbing his jammer. And while this is happening, Dead End Crow is still trying to destroy the Eden Zero, but obviously they're able to outpace him. Dead End Crow is actually kind of impressed on what is able to absorb his signal, and he straight up says, "What kind of monsters do you have on your crew?" And Jin gets pissed off at this, saying, "How dare you say such a thing about my little sister? My bad. My adorable little sister," is what he says. This is important because Laguna says, yeah, she really is cute. And that's when Jin gets pissed off at him and says, "You have no right to look at my sister like that." Which, yeah, I'm with him on that. Laguna's kind of a... Well, other than the princess, they didn't really treat women very well. Let's just go with that. The mention of sisters makes Holy think about her sister, and I'm pretty sure that's actually her as a little kid looking up to her big sister. I'm pretty sure saying sissy. But then she immediately snaps back to reality and goes, "Wait, does this mean my ether works?" And she just fucking melts Dead End Crow. And he is screaming in pain the entire time, so I'm guessing you actually feel your body melting, which is kind of sadistic. Yeah, in fact, Lunia even mentions that there's a very diabolical power. Jin is like, "You have no right to talk," which he doesn't. That's 2 for 2 with these two. Lunia opening his mouth and saying something that he really shouldn't, and Jin pointing out that, yeah, no. I'm guessing that's apparently their dynamic on the crew, which I'm actually beginning to think is pretty good. Holy tells him that that's not his main body, and so he's going to keep rampaging, and they're both disappointed that it's just not that easy, but Holy then asked, "Why didn't you just fire the cannon?" And they respond by saying, "Because we don't kill our own crewmates." And she says, "I'm not a member of your crew." And basically Jin says, "Yeah, we would have been fine with firing the cannon, but Shiki wouldn't have, and we respect his decisions." So they come to the decision while the Eden Zero is focusing on defending against the real Dead End Crow that they should go find his core and destroy it. So back at Team A, they finally were able to collect all of their mothers. And Pina's got the knight armor on autopilot, and that's coming to pick them all up. And so this gives Weiss and Homaru time to think about their mothers. Weiss is basically... He's accepted his mother's death a long time ago. She died when he was still quite young. And he's just kind of sad that she didn't get a proper burial. As for Homaru, while she wanted nothing to do with her mother, learning that she's dead and the fact that she's surrounded by constant death at this point in her life is something that she really just doesn't want to have to deal with anymore. She just wants no more death at this point, even if it's someone that she hates, apparently. Just stop the death. Just stop the dying. Just stop the killing. Now that Rebecca finally has the resolve to summon the chronophage, she does give one last look at all of the mothers at this point that Ziggy has taken away from their families, and she's just heartbroken about it. Like, she has to do it. She has to just basically destroy their bodies with the chronophage, not giving them any proper burial. But the thing that's going through her mind right now is that the fact that Ziggy would do this, that he would steal people away from their families, even if they were already dead or not, just so he can use them for some kind of experiment to find Mother. It's something that she cannot forgive, apparently, and she just wants Shiki to beat Ziggy here and now. And so we go back to the fight with Shiki and Ziggy, and the reveal that we all saw coming is that Ziggy is in fact Shiki. But this Shiki apparently is from a different timeline, you could say. And I'm saying that because we then once again jump 20,000 years into the future. So those aliens or androids or whatever they are who discovered Shiki and are trying to take him back to planet Edens, which we now know the planet came first and the ship was named after the planet. The reason I can say that is because they named the ships. And, well, human male that they have discovered and they are now trying to heal back is apparently Shiki. It's Ziggy it's actually Ziggy, and he starts to wake up, and the aliens or androids ask him if they speak his language. He's basically able to respond with a nod, and they said, "What is your name?" And it's really hard for him to talk, like he's beat up. But eventually he's able to respond by saying, "Ziggy." Now, you can tell based on the fact that he says shh multiple times in the thing, which means he's trying to say Shiki, but he messes up because he's overly hurt, and so he actually calls himself Ziggy, and so that's just what the name he goes with, which is amazing if you think about it. Like, his name is basically just an accident at that point. So after we see that, we then jump back 20,000 years into the past to where we are now, the present, and Ziggy basically looks at Shiki and says, "I am Shiki," and that's where the chapter ends. So yeah, the theory that Ziggy is Shiki, or Shiki is made from Ziggy, that's what I've always believed, that Ziggy was the original Shiki, and then he basically asked Mother to make a baby from his good parts, and from his good inside of him, and so that became the modern Shiki. But it could just be a time travel thing. I don't know. It's unclear at the moment, where Mother had no involvement, and it was just Ziggy picking up his past self. I'm not clear about that. But what I am clear about is the man decided to sit and wait for, I don't know, half a decade, the rust bucket, even though he's a human being that requires food and water, which means he probably is a cyborg. It's the only way that I can imagine him just not moving for all that time. How the hell are you still alive? Also, another thing, that mean all the stars, both the shining stars and the dark stars, are from a different timeline as well? That's food for thought. So, we finally got the biggest mystery finally answered, which is who is Ziggy. The problem is, we don't know anything else. We don't know why he did what he did, how he came 20,000 years into the past, how did he do that, how was he able to turn, like, humans into androids, the shining stars? Does he have a dual personality, one good, one evil? And does that personality still exist inside of him? Like, there's so much about him that we just don't really know at the moment, and this big reveal is just creating more questions. Like, it's what we expected, what I theorized would happen, but it's not... it's not entirely explaining anything at the moment, other than that this Shiki is from the future. So, what are all the other mysteries that we're kind of missing? I hope we get them in a flashback that we're about. Hopefully that will happen right here and now. We'll get a flashback. But I have a really bad feeling that this is just going to be this. That little thing, the 20,000 years future, is going to be it. And then, and then the storyline with Shiki is going to basically go back to the fight. I really want to know what's up with Shiki, but I'm afraid we're not going to get that flashback. At least not yet. We're probably going to get that in the future, but I really want it right now. But yeah, I'm glad I had the mystery of the 20,000 years in the future. That was like 200 chapters ago. And also, who Ziggy is finally been revealed, at least. Like, I want more, I want everything, but I'm willing to take it in little pieces at the moment. But yeah, this was a good chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Zero and other anime things. Thank you, and have a great day.